Right now, the political atmosphere in Nigeria is getting more serious as lawmakers return to the National Assembly for an urgent plenary connected to the Electoral Act amendments, and many citizens are watching closely because this discussion may shape how future elections will be conducted. The main issue that has raised many questions is the debate around electronic transmission of election results. Some people believe the law should clearly support real-time electronic transmission, while others believe flexibility is needed because of technical challenges in some parts of the country. As the Senate moves into this urgent session, different opinions are coming together, and this is why many observers say the situation feels like a major political moment. What makes the story interesting is that the emergency plenary was called suddenly, and whenever lawmakers gather urgently, Nigerians begin to ask what is happening behind the scenes. Many political watchers believe the Senate wants to address growing public reactions and also clarify parts of the amendment that people may have misunderstood. Some lawmakers have explained that electronic transmission itself was not removed from the law, but the wording around real-time transmission became the main focus of debate. Because of this, discussions moved from inside the Senate chamber into the public space, and that is why you see conversations trending everywhere. Across the country, civil society groups, labor unions, and political observers have been sharing their views calmly and respectfully. Some groups say stronger electoral reforms will improve trust in elections, while others say lawmakers must consider infrastructure realities before making certain decisions compulsory. This difference in opinion does not mean conflict, it simply shows that Nigerians are interested in how elections are managed. When citizens begin to talk strongly about electoral laws, lawmakers usually respond by opening more discussions, and that is exactly what seems to be happening now. As you continue watching this update, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important Nigerian political news explained in simple English. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these discussions going. The Electoral Act is very important because it guides how elections are conducted, from voting procedures to result collation. Whenever there is an amendment, it naturally attracts attention because it may affect future elections. Many experts say early reforms are important because Nigeria is already preparing for the next election cycle, and any delay in finalizing the law could create uncertainty. That is why this urgent plenary is not just another meeting, it is part of a bigger national conversation about transparency, technology, and trust in democratic processes. Some political analysts believe the Senate's sudden move also shows that lawmakers are listening to public feedback. In modern democracies, public opinion often shapes how laws are discussed, and when citizens raise questions, lawmakers may return to the table to explain their decisions better. This does not always mean the law will change, but it shows that dialogue is active. And in Nigeria's political history, electoral reforms have always been topics that bring strong reactions because they affect every voter. The conversation around electronic transmission is especially important because technology has become a major part of modern elections around the world. Supporters of stronger electronic systems believe digital transmission can reduce delays and improve transparency, while others say the system must remain flexible to avoid technical problems during voting. These are complex issues, and that is why lawmakers often take time to review different perspectives before finalizing a decision. The emergency plenary gives senators another opportunity to discuss these concerns openly. Many Nigerians are also asking what this means for ordinary citizens. The simple answer is that electoral laws influence how votes are counted and how results are shared with the public. When people understand the process clearly, confidence in elections grows. That is why conversations about electoral reform are not just political debates, they are national discussions about the future of democracy. Even people who do not follow politics every day may feel the impact because these laws shape the overall election experience. Another interesting part of the story is how quickly public reaction spread after news of the amendment became known. Social media discussions increased, analysts began to share their views, and political commentators started to explain different interpretations of the bill. This level of attention shows that Nigerians care deeply about electoral matters. It also shows that political communication has changed, because information now moves faster than before. Lawmakers are aware of this and often respond quickly when national conversations grow. At this point in the gist, let me remind you again to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy balanced political storytelling. Your engagement helps more people understand what is happening without confusion. Looking deeper into the situation, some observers believe the emergency plenary may help clarify technical language in the amendment. Sometimes a single phrase in a law can create different interpretations, and lawmakers may return to adjust wording so that everyone understands the intention clearly. This is a normal part of legislative work, even though it may appear dramatic from the outside. The important thing is that discussions continue peacefully and respectfully. Nigeria has a long history of electoral reform debates, and each election cycle brings new ideas about how to improve transparency and efficiency. Past reforms introduced technology into voter registration and result management, and many experts believe the country will continue moving toward more digital systems over time. However, every step forward usually comes with discussions about cost, infrastructure, and accessibility. That is why lawmakers often balance innovation with practical realities when making decisions. Political watchers also say this moment is important because it reflects how democratic institutions respond to public engagement. When citizens ask questions about laws, it encourages deeper conversations between lawmakers and the public. This process may take time, but it is part of how democratic systems grow stronger. The current debate around the Electoral Act shows that Nigerians are paying attention and expecting clarity from their representatives. As the Senate meets in this urgent session, many people will be watching for signals about what could happen next. Will lawmakers adjust parts of the amendment? Will they simply explain their position more clearly? Or will further discussions continue in the coming weeks? These are the questions many viewers are asking, and the answers may shape political discussions moving forward. What remains clear is that electoral reform is one of the most sensitive topics in Nigerian politics, and any decision will attract attention from across the country. Beyond the Senate chamber, political leaders, analysts, and community voices continue to share their thoughts calmly. Some emphasize the importance of unity and peaceful dialogue, reminding everyone that democratic discussions should focus on solutions rather than disagreements. This tone of respectful conversation is important because electoral reforms affect everyone regardless of political preference. When discussions remain constructive, it becomes easier for lawmakers to find common ground. Another angle many people are talking about is how electoral reforms connect to public trust. Trust grows when processes are clear and when citizens feel their voices matter. That is why transparency and communication are often highlighted during legislative debates. Even when opinions differ, open dialogue helps reduce misunderstandings. The emergency plenary may therefore serve as a moment for clarification, allowing lawmakers to explain the reasoning behind certain decisions. Halfway through this gist, let me remind you again to like this video and subscribe so you continue receiving updates explained in a simple and professional way. Your support truly matters. Some analysts also say that this situation shows how quickly political narratives can change. A single amendment can turn into a national conversation within days, especially when it relates to elections. This reminds us that politics is not only about laws, it is also about perception and communication. How information is shared often shapes how people react. That is why balanced explanations are important, helping viewers understand both the technical side of the law and the broader political context. Looking ahead, the outcome of this plenary could influence future legislative discussions. Even if no major change happens immediately, the debate itself may guide future reforms. Lawmakers may gather feedback from citizens, experts, and stakeholders before finalizing their decisions. This process reflects how democratic systems evolve through discussion rather than sudden action. Many Nigerians are also reflecting on past electoral reforms and how each phase brought new lessons. From manual processes to digital improvements, the country has continued to explore ways to strengthen its election system. The current debate is simply another chapter in that long journey. While opinions may differ, the shared goal remains the same: building an electoral system that is trusted by everyone. As the story continues to unfold, viewers are encouraged to follow updates calmly and avoid misinformation. Political discussions can sometimes feel intense, but staying informed through balanced sources helps people understand the bigger picture. The emergency plenary shows that lawmakers recognize the importance of public engagement, and many expect more clarity after the session concludes. Another important point to remember is that legislative debates often involve compromise. Different groups may present different ideas, but final decisions usually come after several rounds of discussion. This means the current situation is part of an ongoing process rather than a final conclusion. Nigerians watching this story should therefore expect more conversations and explanations in the coming days. The larger lesson from this moment is that democratic systems rely on active participation from both leaders and citizens. When people ask questions respectfully and lawmakers respond through dialogue, it strengthens institutions. The Electoral Act amendment has become a national talking point because it touches on transparency, technology, and the future of elections, topics that matter deeply to many Nigerians. As we move toward the end of this update, the key takeaway is that the Senate's urgent plenary reflects how seriously electoral reform is being treated right now. Public reactions, political analysis, and legislative discussions are all happening at the same time, creating a moment that many describe as important for Nigeria's democratic journey. Whether adjustments are made or not, the conversation itself shows that Nigerians remain engaged in shaping the electoral future. Before we close, please like this video and subscribe if you appreciate clear and professional political updates delivered in simple English. Your support helps keep this platform active and informative. This story reminds us that democracy is an ongoing process. Laws are reviewed, opinions are shared, and institutions continue to adapt as the country grows. The Electoral Act debate may feel dramatic today, but it is also a sign that Nigerians care about the integrity of their elections. As the Senate continues its work, many will watch closely for clarity, understanding, and constructive outcomes that strengthen public confidence moving forward.